Hello. Welcome back to Module 2, Searching as Strategic Exploration. Today, we'll cover Section 5, Types of Information Sources and Research Techniques. This is the second of 3 videos on the subject. In the last video, we talked about the names and functions of different parts of books, as well as other factors when using books as sources. In this video, we'll discuss additional formats that you should consider when working on your projects. Empirical scholarly articles share the results of original, up-to-date research or experimentation conducted by the author or authors who are usually researchers, professors, or graduate students. They often focus on specific topics or issues. Like books, the list of references in articles can be a source for further research. Journal articles are known for a high level of credibility, especially if peer-reviewed. They tend to follow specific conventions, including the title and subtitle and the authors and credentials if those are relevant to the article. These are pretty self-explanatory. An abstract is a paragraph-long summary of the article and may include information about why the research was performed, the nature of the methodology, and the findings of the author. The abstract will always appear at the beginning of the article and could be included in the electronic database record. The introduction presents the research question under consideration, the thesis statement, the research study, and the contributions to existing knowledge in the field. The literature review is a summary or analysis of the sources the author read before doing their own study. This section provides background information on existing research and theories, discusses previous work on the topic, points to questions that heretofore remained unanswered, reviews how current research contributes to the scholarly conversation, and connects the research in the remainder of the article to the existing literature. The literature review is also a good place to find other sources that can help you to widen your perspective. The methods or methodology section tells you how the author performed their research. You may learn their methods for gathering data, why they choose those methods, and the limitations of their approach. Especially in science journals, this section should be detailed enough so that another researcher could replicate the study. The results section is the part where the researcher analyzes his or her findings. The data section will provide the information contained in the study, often in tables, diagrams, graphs, or charts. This data should be complete and directly support the conclusions the authors made regarding their research question. The discussion section contains the author's thoughts on their results and its significance. Answers to the research question under consideration are addressed in this section. The author may also discuss issues they encountered while doing the research. The conclusion section summarizes the author's discoveries and the significance of the overall research. The conclusion can place the research into a larger context and, if appropriate, make recommendations about future actions or future research that needs to be conducted. The bibliography, works cited, or references section lists the sources cited in the article. This may be long and include articles, books, government documents, and primary sources. Next, let's talk about how to read a journal article in order to decide whether you should include it as one of your possible sources. Read the abstract. Read the discussion and conclusion section. Read the introduction and literature review. Once you've done this, question the purpose of the article. Examine what is already known of the topic. Establish the article's research questions. Clarify the article's contribution to the existing body of scholarship. You shouldn't spend the time reading the entire article from beginning to end at this point. Rather, you just want to be able to decide if the article is going to be worth your time and effort later on. Serious journals may lack the academic rigor of their scholarly counterparts, but they typically also undergo a peer review process. The layout of an article may be an introduction, any background information, a brief literature review, a brief description of the methodology, a summation of the article, footnotes or endnotes, and a bibliography. These should be familiar terms by now, so we won't go into them in more detail. Popular magazines can cover areas of professional or personal interest. Typically, they are able to provide up-to-date information and opinion. The layout of an article can be an introduction, background information, a brief review of the topic, and a summary of the article. Newspapers can offer up-to-date coverage of events, news, and opinion. Articles are frequently accompanied by photographs or other images. They can include facts and figures. Reports, whether commissioned by a government agency, industrial concern, or non-profit organization, can focus on a topic in detail. The narrative is often accompanied by statistics or research findings. However, reports sometimes do not give an overview of the topic in question. Depending on the research sponsor, reports may be biased toward one particular position. Conference papers are presented by a scholar to an audience of peers, usually at a professional convention or conference. They were up to date at the time of presentation, although they may become less so with the passage of time. Their quality is generally high. Nevertheless, a search for the paper's reception in the literature might be informative. Depending on the academic discipline, they may not give an overview of the topic. Encyclopedias can provide an overview of the basic facts on a topic. They are typically published by a company that specializes in the format, such as Encyclopedia Britannica. Print copies may go out of date, but electronic versions are updated on a regular basis. The Barton Library has numerous encyclopedias in its reference collection and subscribes to several electronic encyclopedias, which can be found in the research guides or on the library resources webpage. If needed, hit pause and scan the QR codes for these two resources. Dictionaries are vital for understanding terms and concepts. If used regularly, thesauruses improve written work by supplying synonyms or antonyms to words, which can add variety to your prose. The Barton Library has many dictionaries in its reference collection and subscribes to electronic versions as well. Atlases and maps provide geographical and topographical information in detail, especially through online sources. They are a good resource for visualizing land features and spatial relations. Next time, in the next section, we will talk about databases and other electronic formats you might want to use when completing projects. Until then, thank you for your time.